welcome to Around The Wicket. I'm Nerily Meadows as we gear up for a big T20 World Cup and, of course, the Big Bash finals. Joining me in studio, Greg Blewett. But, Bluey, we've got to get straight to one of our stars, and a star in more than one way, and that is Glenn Maxwell, who is joining us from Hobart ahead of the huge knockout final against the reigning champs, the Hurricanes. Maxie, thanks so much for your time. Big game, knockout. How's it going to go? How confident are you?
Yeah, really exciting. Feels like the two front runners from the majority of the competition have found their way to third and fourth, and the Scorchers and Sixers just swanned out and found a way ahead of us both. So it's going to be an exciting final series. It's been so tight, this whole Big Bash. Lots of ebbs and flows and lots of permutations for the finals results, and we're looking forward to. We're glad to be back in the finals after making it last year, and really proud of the hard work we put in this year, and hopefully we get the result tomorrow.
Maxie, how did you process the loss against the Perth Scorchers? You probably had the disappointment of could have finished top, hosting a final over at the MCG, but how did you process the loss and then look forward to the knockout?
Yeah, I think we moved on pretty quickly. It felt like a bit of a almost a free hit at the final last game, and we probably didn't quite nail it with the bat and dropped a few chances in the field, but quickly moved our attention to what we need to do over the next 5 days, and that's to win 3 finals. And we're going to have to do it the hard way, but I feel like this group's more than equipped to do it.
It feels like this season, Maxie, it's been a simple case of win the bat flip, win the match. Other than that, what do you put it down to, the up and down nature of the Stars season?
Yeah, it has been a bit interesting. I think with the conditions of a lot of the grounds, they probably haven't played traditionally like they have in the past. I think you've got to look at probably the pitch conditions has probably dictated a lot of that. You go out there as a team batting first, and you're not really sure what a good score is, and you try and shoot as far as you can go, and end up losing a couple of wickets early in the process, and work out it's a lot more difficult than you first thought, and it just makes it a lot easier for the team batting second to be able to structure up and to be able to chase it a lot easier. And it's only probably the times where teams have gone out on a good wicket, be able to get going and make a heap of runs like the Scorchers have this season, and make 200 plus scores and put the opposition under pressure. But if the wicket's got anything in it and a little bit of up and down, it certainly makes it hard to strive for those totals when you're batting first.
What about your own form, Maxie? You've probably been a little bit disappointed with that, but you'd be hoping, of course, that you've saved the best till last.
Well, I'm glad I haven't really been needed, and we've been able to make the final. So it's actually been quite a nice little free ride for me this year, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully having an impact during the finals. Had a really long hit yesterday with our batting coach Ben Roy. I had a look at some footage and probably noticed a few things creeping in, which probably comes from having a lack of probably rhythm in game, and not really getting that consistent feel out in the middle, and worked on a few things, and by the time I finished that net session, felt back to my best.
Oh, that's an ominous sign for the Hurricanes. I won't push you too hard on which couple of things you were working on, but interested to know, Maxie, the thought process and the conversations that go on in the chaos of T20 cricket and the Big Bash. You come in batting at 7 against the Scorchers the other night. Can you give us an insight to the fans of whether that's your call, the skipper's call, or a mixed conversation?
Oh, there's consistent conversation on the sidelines about who's best equipped to go in at which time, and we tried to sort of structure up this year that I try and control the back end, and a lot of the time it hasn't really been needed. We'd like to have, I suppose, one of myself or Tom Curran in at the surge, and we've been able to, I suppose, manipulate it at different times, especially when we're chasing. And there's certain sides that probably match up better to certain players in our side. The spin-heavy teams I certainly match up better to than a few of the other guys. And you've seen our batting order fluctuate depending on the situation and the conditions as well. So we try and play that as well as we can. And yeah, it's probably worked out pretty well for us in most of the games.
How badly do you want it, Maxi? I mean, we talk about the Virat Kohli Bengaluru title in the IPL, for example. You're sort of that same scenario here in the Big Bash. How much does it mean to you that you win this elusive Big Bash title?
Yeah, it certainly means a lot. It's something I really want to achieve in my career, a title with the Stars, and made no secret about how much this franchise means to me, and how much of an impact it's had on my career. And to be able to give them, I suppose, the ultimate joy of holding up that trophy would mean quite a lot.
Maxi, your bowling lineup has been unbelievable. You got 3 of the top 4 wicket takers: Harris Ralph, Benjamin Button, Peter Siddle, the ripe old age of 41, Tom Curran. I mean, Marcus Stoinis, of course, has done really well. You've opened the bowling as well. What do you think's clicked with your bowling attack? Why have they been so successful?
Yeah, I think they've just been doing the real basics very well. They hold their length for a lot longer. They're able to attack the stumps and adjust when a batter gets on a roll. And it doesn't really matter too much what sort of start the opposition gets. We're able to, I suppose, hold our nerve, and that comes with the experience and confidence in your own skill. And I feel like with our bowling attack, they've got that confidence. They've got the ability to adjust and adapt at different times. And we've been certainly blessed by their output this year. And we're hoping that they've got a couple more games like that in them.
And then, of course, it's the World Cup right around the corner, Maxi. How do you feel like your position personally, but also the team heading into this one?
Yeah, certainly very excited to get over to Sri Lanka and get stuck in. It's a place I absolutely love playing. Got some great memories there. We've got a wonderful squad and a group of players that love playing together. So there's certainly a lot of excitement around this T20 World Cup, and hopefully we can bring that trophy back after having that success in Dubai a couple of years ago.
And you'll have to pack your keeping gloves.
I've been told that I don't have to. I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about that. But I was a little bit nervous about trying to take a catch with the gloves on. I think the last time I practiced with gloves on, I'm pretty sure I broke my finger just catching a few indoors, and had to keep that quiet for a while. But yeah, it's a job that I'm willing to do, but hopefully I don't have to.
I'm not sure how the leg would go either after the break a couple of years ago. Maxi, have you made a call?
There's a few other issues as well, Nez.
Have you made a call yet, Maxi, on your future? Is this your last stint for the green and gold, or is that still to be decided?
No, I haven't made any calls around my future. I try and sort of take it series by series, and yeah, depending on what direction this group is going and how I feel I'm having an impact in the side. And I'm not going to step inside and have someone take my spot if I still feel like I've got something to give in that Australian team. So it depends how this tournament goes, and hopefully the next series, and hopefully the series after that. But yeah, not making any decisions.
I tell you what, Max, it could be a fun month. Melbourne Stars winning away from home for the Big Bash, first ever for the men, and then World Cup, you know. Let's dare to dream, shall we?
Well, there's lots of things that could happen over this year that are really exciting. But yeah, I think it's never nice to, I suppose, think too far ahead. You've got to make sure you sort of stay present, and it'd be nice to think of that dream. But first and foremost, we've got to take on the Hobart Hurricanes tomorrow, who are an excellent outfit, and they've been super consistent over the last couple of years, and we're going to have to be at our best to beat them tomorrow.
Game face on Glenn Maxwell. Thank you as always for your time, and all the best in these Big Bash finals in the World Cup.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Don't go anywhere, because after this short break, we're going to talk further about that T20 World Cup with former T20 captain Michael Clarke. Well, former Aussie keeper Michael Michael Clarke joins us now. Pup, great to have your company. Before we get stuck into the nitty-gritty of cricket, I really want to touch on your great mate, Damien Martyn, who has made a miraculous recovery. Things weren't looking great a few days ago, but he's back home. He's posted the fans and thanked them for their support. And I know you've been in touch with him and have been to visit him. Can you just give us your insights on how tough it's been for the last couple of weeks for him?
Yeah, hello guys. Nice to be with you again. Yeah, obviously over the moon. Marto's doing a lot better. Back home where he loves to be. Great to see him back on social media as well, where he also loves to be. Back to himself already. But yeah, look, no doubt it was a scary week or so. Out of the blue, rushed to hospital. Thankfully, the right people there and the right type of care. He was in an induced coma for a lot longer than anybody would have liked. But then, yeah, the amazing strength. I guess, a big part of Marto's life has always been to be super fit and healthy. And I think that's played a significant part in him fighting the disease and getting himself out of hospital. At one stage there, it was quite scary. His partner, Amanda, was tremendous and so strong. And I know there's been a lot of family and friends that have got around him and supported him. So, yeah, it was nice to go up and see him when he arrived home, give him a big hug. And like I say, he's well and truly back to his best already.
That gives me goosebumps. That would have been a really special hug. There was a lot of concern amongst the cricketing fraternity, but particularly the guys like you that have pplayed alongside him, Bluey.
Yeah, it all took us by surprise. And as Pup was saying, it was very scary there for a second. So, we're all very relieved that he had the best care and he's back home. So I've touched base with him briefly, and I think he's been blown away by all the support that he's got. And I think the care that he got in hospital was second to none. So I think he's very fortunate, and we're all very pleased that he's back, and he's got a little bit of a recovery to go, but it's some great signs.
And don't listen to Pup. Keep those social media posts coming.
Oh, don't worry, he won't listen to me. He never has, he never will, that's for sure.
We'll listen to you, though, Michael Clarke. T20 World Cup just around the corner. We'll take a look at the Aussie squad now. How do you feel like the green and gold are shaping up to hopefully win their second men's ICC T20 World Cup?
Very strong squad. Any squad that can leave an informed Steve Smith out is a very strong one. A couple of surprises, I guess, just looking at, recent form. But look, I think the key for Australia is to get everybody fit. I think that's what's most important. I think Tim David's a big part, Paddy Cummins a big part, Josh Hazlewood. If these guys are fully fit, I think we certainly qualify, make the semi-finals, and then from there, let's see what happens. But from an Australia's perspective, we expect to win every World Cup we play in. This one will be no different. I think it's a very strong squad.
Would you make any changes?
Oh, I think if there's any injury, an injury to Travis Head or Mitchell Marsh, I think Steve Smith probably comes straight in based on BBL form. I think for Smitty, he's made it clear he wants to be a part of that Olympic campaign. I think the selectors obviously made a call and said he's had his time. But if there's an injury, I think he's got to open the batting if he's going to play. So if one of those two players gets injured, he comes in. I guess the other one, and Maxi's been a great player for a long time in all three formats, but his form at the moment is not great. He's not playing IPL. I think that's the only one that I'll probably look at in that squad and think, is Maxi going to play or is he going to go and not be in the starting 11? But, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there as well.
Geez, that's a big call. I mean, we just spoke to Glenn Maxwell. He's confident he can get things back on track, but that's a big call not having Glenn Maxwell in the 11 or potentially even in the squad.
I mean, the big thing Maxi's got going for him is X factor, and I'm sure that's still there as well. But I think Maxi might need a week off or so and then get his head around the World Cup. And, he offers so much with the ball in the field. He's a great all-round cricketer. But Maxi, at his best, is that X factor that you might just need in a World Cup.
Interesting as well. They're just taking the 10 World Cup squad members to Pakistan for those warm-up matches. Maxwell is one of those that will miss out on that to refresh, as you say, and then join them in Sri Lanka. Cooper Connolly, by the way.
Just on that, Bluey and Nez, can you run me through a refresh? He hasn't played Ashes cricket. What's he refreshing from? Isn't this the big campaign, the last hurrah? I don't understand why he wouldn't want to go to Pakistan or why the selectors wouldn't want to take him to Pakistan. Let him play and get some form leading into the World Cup because he hasn't been making runs in the BBL. I just don't know why you need to freshen up if you haven't played that much cricket at all.
Yeah, I reckon that's a really good point, Pup. The only thing I can think of that's happened is maybe the selectors have gone to Maxi and said, listen, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to Pakistan or do you want a week off at home and just get your head right? That's the only reason I can see why you wouldn't go to Pakistan.
It was interesting in the selection overall of this one as well. Clearly, some of the senior guys have been left out and they've decided to go with some of the junior guys for this tour. I mean, there's obviously been a lot going on in Pakistan as well, so it's always been a bit of a left up to the individual scenario as well, fair to say.
Yeah, that's right. And I also thought too, though, that Pakistan might have been like a mini camp as well. Because I had heard that they might have gone to Dubai before they went to Pakistan, and I thought that a lot of their homework might have been done in between games in Pakistan before they get to Sri Lanka and India. But yeah, I was surprised not to see some of the names that aren't going to Pakistan.
All right, let's talk about Steve Smith. You brought him up a little earlier. It's really interesting because his record in T20 internationals hasn't been great, Pup. But as you say, in the Big Bash, he's been extraordinary. And overall in the Big Bash, I did some numbers. Minimum 250 runs in the history of the Big Bash. He has the second highest average, second only to David Warner's, and that's just by a touch. And Smith has a better strike rate of 150.27. These are the only guys that have averaged above 40 with that minimum 250 runs in the history of the BBL. Does Smudge's numbers surprise you a little bit there, Pop?
Not really. If he was opening the batting for Australia and the tournament was in Australia, I think there's your answer right there. I think that's probably been the biggest, and it happens as well for a lot of cricketers. Where you bat in domestic cricket is not necessarily where you bat in international cricket. I think every batsman wants to open the batting in T20 cricket or one-day cricket. It's the best place to bat. Unfortunately for Smitty at the moment, he's got Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh in front of him. One's the captain and the other one's been in terrific form, domestically, internationally, IPL, whatever you want to call it. So, like I say, there's an injury to an opening batter. I think it's a no-brainer Smitty comes in. But the other thing as well, with age and time, generally one format or two formats go, and Test cricket's normally the one that stays the longest. I think that's probably the conversation that the selectors have had with Smitty a while back, that they're looking to move to the future, and they've made that decision. But, yeah, look, in regards to form, there's no player in the world in better form. It doesn't matter what format of the game. So, Australia's certainly not at a loss if an opportunity comes up and they go back to Steve Smith.
What would you do?
I think he's reinvented himself in T20 cricket. I know exactly what Pup is saying. Like, most of the opportunities he's had is, batting at 4 or below. And it's a completely different role. It's the toughest role in T20 cricket. But I just think he's too good not to at least be in the squad because he can be adaptable as well. I love experience, especially in the field, in World Cups as well. So don't discount his catching ability as well. So for me, he'd be in the squad. I don't think they've finalised the 15 yet, but I'd have him in.
I tell you what, Babar Azam in the Sixers opening alongside him turned down the single and said, no, mate, I've got this the next over, hits 32 off at a record. Would you do that to a fellow great, Pup?
Well, I couldn't hit 32 off and over, so no chance would I do that. I'd probably give the strike to Bubba and I'd sit up the other end. Yeah, I did see that. Like a lot of things at the moment for Smitty, he can do what he wants because he's getting the results. He's making runs. He hit 30 off the overs, so no one's going to say anything. But, yeah, I don't think Bubba was that impressed. Yeah, I don't know. The game's changing. Certainly this format, T20 cricket, I'm seeing batters get retired. International players, the overseas players are being retired as well. So, yeah, look, I'm just going to sit and watch. But no, I certainly wouldn't have been not taking the single if I was on strike, that's for sure.
Well, Mohammad Rizwan was one of those players, minimum 150 runs this Big Bash. They've got the worst two strike rates between them, just around that 100 mark. What do you do when such a big signing is not striking the ball the way that you require it in T20? How do you handle it, Bluey?
I think you just got to have the conversations around, how is it going? How can we improve? How do we get your strike rate a little bit higher? I think what we've seen with a couple of those Pakistan players is that they've been under pressure. And I think they thought this was a really good chance to come out in the Big Bash, really pressed their name forward for World Cup selection for Pakistan as well. And I think that pressure is just shown on a couple of those superstars as well.
What do you reckon, Pup? Is it pressure on for Pakistan given their form in the Big Bash?
Look, I think it's a great example that conditions that you play in are different all around the world. I think that's the realistic view. Because you're making runs in the BBL doesn't mean you're going to walk into Sri Lanka and Indian conditions and make runs. So I think, the best players in the world find ways to adapt. T20 cricket is probably the hardest because you haven't got time to, get used to the pace of the pitch or the bowler or assess conditions over a period of time. So it's very hard for overseas players, no matter where you go, to be able to adapt to those conditions quickly and perform. And I guess that's probably the one thing the Australian team or squad's looked at as well. Who's playing in the IPL? Because they're the conditions you're going to be playing virtually your Super 8s, your semi-finals and your finals come this World Cup. And that's, like I say, probably if Smitty was playing in the IPL and making runs as well as making runs in the BBL, I think he's in that squad for sure.
Well, Pup, don't go anywhere because we're going to get your thoughts on India. They've gone down to New Zealand for the very first time in a one-day series. It's interesting times for Gautam Gambhir. Michael Clarke still with us. Pup, New Zealand's win in India. How significant is that for Gautam Gambhir and India, do you think?
Well, it's probably more significant for New Zealand. Won the test series over there, now won the one-day series. They are playing unbelievable cricket, and that will do their confidence the world of good leading into this World Cup. India don't like losing, like the rest of it, like Aussies. So, there'll be pressure on. I guess there's always, the conversation around captain, coach, the leadership side of things when you're not winning. The other thing as well, their one-day team is very strong. They've still got the experienced Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in that team. So they'll be disappointed, there's no doubt about it. But very different T20 team leading into the World Cup. So I think they'll try and make that transition as quickly as they can and focus on T20, which they've been very good at. But, they won't like losing, that's for sure.
Bluey, just taking a look at Gautam Gambhir's record. So he took over just after the T20 World Cup win. 19 tests, won only 7 of those. 20 ODIs, won only 12. Much better record in T20 internationals. How much pressure, and that's a rare photo of GG smiling, by the way. How much pressure do you think he's under?
I reckon he's under huge pressure. I liken that job, the head coach of Indian cricket, to like an English Premier League soccer job. I just think that they won't take losing very, very well, especially the public in India. So even though they may think, the board I'm talking about, think he's the right man for the job, I just think the outside noise is going to get very loud. So they'll have to go very well in the World Cup, I feel, for him to keep his job.
Pup, can the outside noise infiltrate the dressing room?
You'd like to hope not, but I think it does. I think media plays a big part. There's no doubt about it. I think if the media's got a target on someone's back, unless you're making hundreds, very rarely do you survive as a batsman. I know that. Look, I think there's probably a number of coaches that will want their team to stand up at the World Cup. I think obviously the Ashes series and Baz with England. I think how England go in this World Cup could be significant for him. Bluey just mentioned there, Gambhir. I think it's, the World Cup's come at an interesting time. I know it's a different format, but you just got to be winning. That's the life we live, the sport we play, professional sport these days is based on results. So, everyone's out trying to win, and I think the results of this World Cup's going to be significant.
You brought up Virat Kohli before, obviously not playing in that T20 World Cup and has retired from Test cricket. Since retiring from Test cricket, Bluey, he's averaged 88 in the ODIs. And by the way, that includes back-to-back ducks in Australia to start the series, which just goes to show how phenomenal he's been in his last few knocks. What is it about letting other forms of the game go that can see you really rise?
I think, obviously, not playing Test match cricket, which is the most stressful out of the three formats at international level. So by not playing Test match cricket, I think it's probably mentally freshened him up. Not as much cricket as well. We know how good he is, and I think white ball cricket, especially ODIs, would probably come the easiest to Virat. And I think as long as that hunger's there for him, we know he's as fit as a fiddle. I think he can play for a while yet, as long as he wants to, of course.
How tough is it to decide which form to give up when, do you think? We see different players doing different things. Mitchell Starc, for example, sticking with Tests, giving up T20s.
Yeah, it's up to the individual, isn't it? I think generally you see people hang on to Test cricket for the longest amount of time. But yeah, it's physically and mentally draining. There's no doubt about it. And Virat's played for a long time. Look, I think international cricket misses him. I think everyone looks forward to him, being out there with that one-day Indian shirt on. But I think a lot of people would like to see him certainly still be playing Test cricket and even in the T20s. But everyone retires. Sachin retired, Sir Donald Bradman retired, Brian Lara retired. The game goes on. But, yeah, I think he's missed. There's no doubt about it.
Michael Clarke, thank you so much for your time. We'll chat to you next week. Don't go anywhere because we're going to take on the short stuff next. Bluey, it's time to take on the short stuff. We spoke about Steve Smith earlier. What stoush captured you the most this summer? Against Jofra Archer at the Gabba, against Bubba Azami's teammate at the SCG, or against the Brisbane Heat fans above the sight screen at the Gabba?
He's been a bit feisty, hasn't he, Stephen Smith, this summer? But the one against Archer, that was blockbuster stuff for me. That sort of 15, 20 minutes was dynamite. I loved it. So that's it for me.
I actually quite appreciated the Brisbane fans. It was like free throws at the basketball, 2 dot balls and you get a free burger.
Yep.
Retirement of Elisa Healy. Who is going to be the next women's captain, do you think?
I think Ashley Gardner is well placed to take over the captaincy, 28 years of age. So I think she'd be a really good choice. Mooney, is she a little bit too old? I'm not too sure, taking the keeping duties, but maybe Ashley Gardner.
Under-19s World Cup is going on at the moment. Do you have an under-19 story for me, Bluey?
Well, that was my first ever overseas trip, and the first night I was overseas, I got left behind. They left me behind. Team dinner.
Home Alone style.
Came out of the restaurant. The bus was departing. I had to find my way home to the team hotel where I had no idea where it was. This is before mobile phones as well. And the worst thing, no one knew I was missing when I got back about 4 hours later. Unbelievable.
Who was in the team with you?
Martin, Gilchrist, they had no idea I was missing. Unbelievable. Shocking behaviour.
Wouldn't happen these days. Tip, Scorchers against the Sixers?
Scorchers at home.
Stars against the Hurricanes, the defending champs?
Yeah, I think Hurricanes, too much power. They're at home.
Good work by you today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. You can go somewhere.